Good morning, students. Welcome back to the civics class. I hope you all are doing well at home. So, today in this video, we are going to learn more about the Constitution of India. In the last video, we have knew something new parts of the like preamble, what is the Constitution of India, what is the drafting committee. So, this is all about we have already finished. So today in this video we are going about learn something more about like the objectives of the constitution, the features of the constitution. So today in this video we are going to cover up these two major points. So let's start the objectives of the constitution. So the objectives of constitutions are consisted 4 points, just like justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Okay, justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. So let's talk about one by one each one of these points very neatly. So first of all, justice. As we know, justice is important in our life, and for that reasons, our constitution is all about made in such a way so that each and every citizen of our country can get the justice in every such a good way. Just like, so we have a 3 types of justice in our preamble. Listen, just like social justice, economic justice, and political justice. But after all the citizens of India are equal in the eyes of law, irrespective of their caste, of their race, of their gender, of their religion, of their race. Yes or no? So up to the point to the this caste, religion, all these about things, our preamble mentions 3 types of justice: social justice, economic justice, and political justice. Social justice. The creation of an Indian society where there is no discrimination against anyone that based on maybe a caste or race, a gender, or a religion. Okay, so there should be a social justice. Then economic justice. So striving to bridge the gap between the rich and poor. So economic is just all about we are thinking about rich and poor. So if someone is rich in a society, we looking at them in such a different way. Those are poor, who are thinking about we are looking at them just an ugly way. So it is not an equal. It is not a justice. So we should have an economic justice also. And thereafter, political justice. So political justice implies that every Indian citizen has the right to vote or get elected to any office of the country, that irrespective of their religion, caste, gender, education background, whatever their financial background. So whatever they have belong to any background, they can be have the right. They have the right to get elected and they have right to vote. So that is as a political justice. So this is the 3 type of justice that our preamble mentioned. The preamble mentioned in our preamble. Okay, our constitution mentioned in our preamble, like social justice, economic justice, and political justice. Clear? Next about liberty. So every Indian citizen has the liberty or freedom of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. And that also need, that should be considered to be the basic rights of every individual needs. That's why. So the preamble that declares that is the basic rights that each and every individuals of our country should have. They have the right to think to whatever they need, whatever they want. They can express whatever they want. They can believe whatever they want. Okay, so this kind of liberty, this kind of freedom that each and every each and every citizen should have their rights. Thereafter, equality. So our preamble states that there shall be equality of status and opportunity in the country. So there should be no partiality in such a way. Okay, this means the Indian state shall not discriminate anyone based on their caste or religion or their race, whatever may be the background status. All the citizens, all the peoples of India should have the equality. They can deserve, they can enjoy all the equality powers and rights they have. Fraternity. Last but not least, so our preamble also contains the word fraternity. That means the fraternity means that ensuring the brotherhood. That ensuring the brotherhood among all citizens of the country. And it's the promoting of the brotherhood is a very essential in a such a unity. We can call it India is a unity in diversity. So this is the brotherhood is a remarkable one. So in spite of unity and diversity, we are promoting our brotherhood. That is a remarkable one for our country. And that is our preamble have consisted these four major points: justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Clear? So now next point is features of the Constitution of India. So there are some features of the Indian Constitution, just like some of the points they have. First one, the written Constitution. So the Indian Constitution is a written document, unlike the British Constitution. Okay, not like the British Constitution. We know we have ruled by the British peoples. Yeah, we have governed by the British rules. But still then, after the independence, Indians have their own constitution that is in a written document. Okay, that is in a written document. So that's why the British people they have an only uncodified constitution, as there is no single document. So that's why they can be classified as British Constitution. Okay, so if you read the history about the governance of the British. Okay, so British follows the laws, their customs, their conventions built up over the years. Okay, over the years, whatever they have built there the past, so they are following the same way over the years. Thereafter, the longest constitution. So the Indian Constitution is the lengthiest constitution in the world. Obviously, if you see, if you see how many articles, how many schedules, how many parts, it's look like just the longest constitution in the world. Just like our constitution have 395 articles and 8 schedules, and there are some of different parts also there. So this is the sound that creates a longest constitution. Okay. Then both rigid and flexible. So our constitution is is just nicely blend of with the rigidity and the flexibility. Okay. So how it is the rigidity and flexibility is both combined together in just a smooth. How? So just like we can easily change it, we can easily mend it. Just we require a majority. Okay, if our parliament just need a simple majority to do any changes, to do any amendment of the preamble of the constitution. Okay, just like you can take a look at the examples to bring a change in some articles of our constitution. So you need some special majority to change any articles, not to change totally, just to modify some articles. Okay, you need only a simple special majority in the parliament. Clear? Thereafter, federal form of the government. So what is federal form of the government? So government is created in such a form, such a federal form that our country should go in the govern in such a smooth way. Just like our government is giving a power to both the central government and the state government, so that they can depend each other and they can work smoothly. So there is a clear division, the separate powers given to the central government and the state government. So just like the central government governs the whole country, whereas the state government governs only the particular state, only that particular state. So that's why laws made by a state that are applied only in that state, not in whole country. But the law that created by the central government that will apply in a whole country. So that is the different that the power of the government of the central government or as the same state government are divided in such a way, divided, not just like a divided, in such a way it is divided. That's why we have called it unity in diversity. Still then we have a different casualty, different riots, different movements, different something disputes, isn't it? But still then central government supported state government and state government support the central government. Then parliamentary system. So how is our parliament is going on? As we have read that federal form of the government, if you need to change anything, the rigid and flexibility also. If you need any change, any modification articles, you need a special majority in parliament. But how many parliaments are there? Who is there? How to be conduct? We should know. So there is a parliament system where the government, the constitution is given as a formed for such a beautiful parliament system for the central government. They should have given answer to the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, just like a two parliament, they consist two parliament houses. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha for the central government. And for the state government, it is a Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. These are two houses for the each central government and the state government. For the central government, it is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. For the state government, it is Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. Thereafter, fundamental rights. As you know, each and every citizens of India have their fundamental rights, isn't it? But just like you are belong to a country, you are belong to India, so our constitution guarantees a number of basic rights to all the peoples of Indians. So as these rights are basic in nature and they require lead a dignified life, so they are known as fundamental rights. Okay, these fundamental rights that give you a proper way of a simple and dignified life. So that's why it's given as a title fundamental rights. Isn't it? So they cannot be taken away by anyone. Just remember, the fundamental rights, they cannot be taken by anyone. Okay, not even by the government also. Suppose if anyone violated your fundamental rights, that you can be restored it to by the court of law. Clear? So fundamental rights, we will learn more about the fundamental rights in our next chapter. It is there. Okay, so this is the just basic idea about the fundamental rights. The fundamental rights that gives a dignified, simplifying, and a sustained, peaceful life to a country to live. And for that reason, so fundamental rights that cannot be taken away by anyone, even by the government also. Clear? Now, directive principles of state policy. So, directive principles of state policy are mentioned in the part of 4 in our constitution. So, they were taken from the Irish constitution. Okay, so this directive principles of state policy is taken by the Irish constitution. Clear? As they have included certain principles, just like government have to follow these certain ideals, certain achievements. Okay, so these kind of policies, the state policies, so our constitution borrowed from the Irish constitution. So that means that's why it's called as a directive principles act, that guiding principles in policy making. Okay, so this is the given a guidance to the policy making. If you are making any policy, so it give you a guidance to you. So that's why it's given the directive principles of state policy. Single citizenship. We are all citizens of India since we are born here in India. Yes or no? That's why we call the citizens of India, as we are born in India. That's why, so the Constitution of India that provides you a single common citizenship to all Indians. Suppose if you are living in US and you came to India to live here, okay, so you can't get an Indian citizenship. Okay, so this is all a single citizenship. And the last major features of the constitution is universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise. So universal adult franchise is one of the pillars of the democracy. It is the most one of the pillars of the democracy. Just like all about citizens of the country. So those who have on or above 18 years. Okay, now it is currently 18 years. So they have the right to vote. They have right there to vote and choose their representatives for the government. They may be belongs to a different caste, they may be belong to a different religion, different background, gender, or any status. But still then, if they have reached the 18 years age, they have the right to give the vote. So this is the universal adult franchise. Once you have reached the adult age, then you have that rights to give the vote. So this is all about the Constitution of India. I hope you understood well different parts, different points of the Constitution of India. So just read the book. Okay, if you have any doubt, any words, any sentence, or any phrases, or any points, so you can tell me, so that I can clarify in my live classes. Clear? So till then, see you. Take care. Bye bye.